I remember when I was on a trip to Vegas and my cousins lived there at the time, and we had planned to do psychedelics. We were planning to do psilocybin mushrooms when I got there, and it was a 7-hour drive for me to get there. And we were going to start pretty much immediately because that's just, we were a little bit short on time, but we had enough time to get the trip in and then a day to recover and all that, and then we'll be back to normal and back to regular life. And so I was on the trip there, obviously, and there's this like part where you pass through like 2 hours of desert, because I live in Utah, and so you had to pass through like 2 hours of desert to get there. And man, I remember just thinking to myself, like, something is off about this. Something feels weird about this. Like, I don't know, I don't know why, but this feels like this trip is going to be different, and not just the trip, but the trip, if you know what I'm saying, right? So anyway, after that trip, I had some pretty stark revelations in the trip, and one of the things that I kept repeating to myself was, we're all the same thing. We're in the fourth dimension. We're all the same thing. We're in the fourth dimension. And I just kept like, it wasn't a psychotic episode or anything. It was just like this realization that I was just not prepared for a lot of what I was being given from the psychedelics. And, I was probably 23 at the time. So this was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, actually. I'll be 29 next month. And unfortunately, I had to endure seeing my cousins for who they really are and what they really are. And it showed me a lot about my family. It showed me a lot about who my family really is and what kind of people my family chooses to be around. And I really didn't like this realization. I really didn't like it because I guess I was 22. Yeah, I was 22 at the time. It was just this really harsh realization, and I didn't like it because I realized that I had to leave these people alone. I had to leave these people and I had to go somewhere else. And so, I ended up telling them how I felt about the family situation and how I wasn't sure if I wanted to be a part of it. If this family dynamic is going to be the way that it is, I don't, because I did psychedelics in search of self-discovery, and I thought they were too, and it seemed like they were, but then it was like, when I was on the trip, I didn't see that kind of interest really being played out. I didn't see that really played out to the degree in which I was expecting, based off of who I thought they were, because I was raised around these people, right? And when you're on psychedelics, you like see people for exactly who they are and what they are. There's no hiding. You see their spirit. And so anybody that hasn't taken psychedelics might not understand what I'm saying, but I had to lose a lot of my family, and I don't talk to them much anymore. And I'm not here to be like, oh, I don't talk to my family. No, it's actually okay. Like, it's better for me to not. And I'm a better person because of it. And I didn't just do it because I wanted to be rebellious. No, I made a really reasonable decision and was like, look, the mental health of this family is just simply something that I cannot afford to be around. And if other people are not going to want to contribute and to really try to make things better, then I can't afford to be around this. I just can't. And it was pretty much that simple, but it wasn't easy by any means. And I had to make certain decisions that made an impact on very many people in the family. And yet, it's kind of weird, when you're around narcissists, and I'm not saying all of them were narcissists, but narcissists in general, they it's like when you realize what they are, you have to grieve the image of who you romanticized, even though you didn't even realize you were romanticizing them. And I don't mean romanticize strictly in the sense of romanticism, I suppose, but it's almost like idealism. you have to grieve the idealized version of who you thought they were in your mind and in your heart. You have to grieve that. And it's weird to grieve somebody that doesn't even exist. That's the weird thing about it, right? It's like I'm grieving. I'm grieving this ideal. I'm not even grieving the person. I'm grieving an ideal. And there's this shedding of the ego that takes place. But it's not about like ego death or whatever like that, or killing your ego or letting go of your ego. It's about letting go of what's not good for your ego and integrating what's going to fortify a healthy ego. And this is where a lot of people, I think, misconstrue like what exactly an ego really is meant to be. And what I've determined, because a lot of people that I used to know growing up, they were mediocre cynics, okay? They were mediocre cynics. And I was myself listening to my inner retard more and more. And I didn't really call it that. I didn't know that's what it was. But I was listening to my inner retard more and more. And the more I grew up and the more I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to go and I'm going to see what's going to happen. And I'm going to just allow things to be. I'm not going to try to force anything. And it's amazing what happens when you do that. It's amazing how you become the person that got away when they, at the time, they thought they were doing the right thing. And since I've cut off contact with my family, I've had multiple people reach out to me in the family. Not as many as you might think, but, the things that they say, it's not encouraging. It's like, it's not even like it's not even compassionate. It's not even a sense of understanding. It's just like, well, we'll be here when you're ready to get back to sanity. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'll see you then. Like, I guess I'm insane. I'm just gonna listen to my inner retard for the rest of my life. And what I've realized is that it's better to be a little bit retarded and to listen to your inner retard than it is to be a mediocre cynic. Because so many people are just, and I'm not trying to like bash on my family here. I'm just speaking from experience, okay? I'm just giving you guys a background, a little bit about where I've come from. Because I don't talk about things just to talk about. I have things that I want to say. And I have things that are messages. And I think God put me through these kinds of situations so that I could provide messages like this. Because I hope that when you come away from my videos and my account, you feel a little bit, I was gonna say you feel a little bit more at ease with your inner retard. And you feel a little bit more at ease with your godlike savage as well. Like your inner godlike savage. Look, I was thinking about this yesterday, I'm so tired of the fight. I'm so tired of fighting. In the Regal Change Academy group that we have, we talked a little bit about like things in the Regal Assembly call yesterday. We talked a little bit about like war and such, just very, very briefly. And, I just didn't even want to touch World War III. I didn't even want to touch all of these, political and worldly things that are going on. I just didn't even want to touch it. Just like, it's not even, for me, it's almost like it's not even worth looking at sometimes. Because I know that it's important to stay informed. I know it's important to stay informed. But at the same time, it's like, all you need to do is look at the news to see what kind of reality show they're going to try to put on you now. Like, I swear a lot of what's going on in the news right now and a lot of what's going on in the world right now is just to manipulate the market. I swear that's what's going on. They're making a reality show about war. That's what it looks like to me. Now, maybe I'm just retarded. Maybe I'm just retarded. But that's what it looks like to me. And so I just don't even care to like give it attention, because I know that a lot of these elites and such, and a lot of the governments, they just want us focused on that. They don't want it. They want us to be stuck in this realm of fear. They don't want us to move on with our lives. Okay, because when you're the one that gets away, even from the government, and I'm not saying like you're trying to get away legally or whatever. Like, I'm just saying like, because I don't do psychedelics anymore. I don't even, the last time I had a drink was almost 2 years ago. I just don't do that stuff. I don't even smoke cigars or cigarettes or whatever. I just don't do that. I don't do anything like that. I like being me. And anybody that follows my channel very closely and my account closely knows that a few weeks ago in one of my videos, I tried coffee for the first time in like 8 months. And like, it was too much for me. I haven't had coffee since. Man, that was too much. I don't know if I can have coffee for a while. I don't know. Maybe, but I like being me. And right now I'm getting over a little mild sickness, even though it didn't feel mild for like one day there. It was really rough. That was really intense. But, you know, for the most part, I like being me. I like being healthy. I like having an active lifestyle. I like, you know, being an honest person. I like being a person that can walk with high integrity and high energy, and, you know, live out life to the fullest in a very sophisticated and peaceful way. That's what I like to do. And it's funny how when you have respect for yourself and you're able to walk away from situations or people that are just trying to drag you down, like, you just get to a point with some of these people and you're just like, would you just go away? Like, neither of us really care to try to work out this relationship, apparently. Like, I've tried, and you don't want to. So you're just trying to be here to cause issues because you want attention. You feel like you need to be seen. You need to be heard. But all you want to be heard and seen about is how angry you are. And it's like, I get it. You're angry. You've been angry for years, bro. that's just kind of how it feels. It's like, whoa, have you channeled that anger into something beautiful? Like, recently what I've been doing in the mornings is I've been doing paintings in the mornings. Not over the last few days because I've been sick, but I've been waking up and doing painting just to get creative, let the juice flow in the morning. The summer solstice was just the other day, and so the sun goes to I was going to say goes to bed. The sun goes to bed. I go to bed pretty early / late, depending on, I guess, how old you are. But I usually go to bed at like 10:30 now. But even then, it's still a little bright out. You know, it's still like there's still a hint of light. It's not pitch black just yet. And the sun rises at frickin' 6 o'clock, 5:30 some days. So if there's not any clouds or anything hovering above the mountaintops, so geez Louise, you know, I only get about 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and I'm the kind of guy that I need to be sleeping very much so in pitch black. Like I can sleep when it's light out, but I'm not gonna get the best sleep, you know. And so I'll be waking up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'll start painting for a little while. You know, I'll start painting and maybe read a little bit, and then I'll hit the gym and such, you know, and then start work for the rest of the day and make some meals and pretty much do meetings and projects for the rest of the day, and, you know, do it all over again. But I don't have like I live a spontaneous lifestyle though. And this is what a lot of people seem to, like, they can't stand it. A lot of people cannot stand that you're able to live spontaneously. You can be healthy and still be spontaneous. Okay, you don't need to be so focused on trying to like do this here and get this done here. And like, it's good to have goals and deadlines. Absolutely. Like I encourage that. Of course. But Me personally, I need to be able to have that leeway of flexibility and fluidity in my life. I don't like not having it. But I also, when I do plan things, I don't like to change them. I really don't like to change. Like, if I make a plan and, there's a deadline, like let's say I have like a meeting scheduled with somebody for a one-on-one session. If we make a plan, I don't like to change it unless we absolutely have to. I really don't like to. But that's just, it's just because I like to, when things are scheduled, I like to be able to come together and then we can go about our ways. We can separate when we need to. But I was just thinking about, this topic and how people, like, it doesn't even have to be in the romantic sense of, oh, he's the one that got away or she's the one that got away. It's just like life. It's just people in life, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's business. Like, you might be in your career or something right now, and you might have had one of the best quarters of your life. We're approaching Q3 here in a minute. I can't believe it. Q2 is almost done. If people don't know what that means, gotta get caught up on the business lingo, bro. But seriously though, we're about to enter Q3, so we're almost in the latter half of the year. Okay, and Q3 is usually one of my busiest quarters of the year. Q3 and Q4 for sure, and we'll see how it goes. We're gonna see what's gonna happen, but I think, like, in life, as far as relationships go, Q3 is really where a lot of people start to settle down. Fall will be coming in a couple months, and they're gonna want to have their pumpkin spice, and they're gonna want to have their couch sessions where they just chill and they eat food and watch a movie and snuggle and cuddle when it's starting to get a little bit cold out and the leaves are falling, right? Don't fall for this. Like, they had their hot girl summer, they had their hot guy summer, whatever the case is. They went out and partied, they did whatever. But if they're not doing that, if they're not that kind of person, then you don't need to worry. But a lot of women in specific, it seems like spring and fall is going to be where they want to have relationships because, now that winter's ending, they want to be seen with somebody. They don't want to be seen alone, right? And then when fall is coming, they don't want to go into the dark winter alone. So it's like, it seems to me that that's the case. That's just what I've seen. But when you're the one that gets away, when you see what's going on, and I'm not saying you shouldn't want to be in a relationship. I think it's better for men and women to be in healthy, functioning relationships where both are committed and they value commitment and the devotion to one another above all else. Because that's going to be the key ingredient to really ensure a long-lasting, healthy relationship. It's commitment. It's not chemistry. Okay, you can have chemistry with a lot of different kinds of women. I can have chemistry with just about any person I talk to because I can just relate really easily with anybody, really. I could even relate with all of the hoes, okay? I'm that retarded. I'm that retarded that I could relate with the hoes. I don't want to relate with the hoes, though, but I could if I wanted to. I find much more meaningful relationships and connections and relatabilities with very healthy women that are feminine and that are empathetic, kind, and considerate. But, that's just me. Maybe you're different. I don't know. But when you're the one that gets away, man, they're going to be mad. They're going to be upset. And you've got to be able to have a clear mind in how you go about living your life going forward, because you got to be careful. Some of these people are like, they're going to be so upset that when they see your growth as a threat to their existence, because you are mirroring to them what they could have been doing with their lives when instead they chose to play Candy Crush watching Teletubbies. I don't freaking know. Like, that's what it seems like. A lot of these people are just watching freaking whatever. They're playing Candy Crush and watching Teletubbies, or playing Candy Crush and watching The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. Get out of here, man. Like, get out of here. I'm just gonna move on. I'm not. I don't need that kind of lifestyle. I don't want to be around that kind of lifestyle. Are you kidding me? Ugh. I'd rather be alone. But thank God we don't have to be alone. We have groups and communities like the Regal Change Academy where people are, like, we've got all different kinds of people in there. That's what I really like. A lot of people think that communities are just, like, online communities are places for people to go where, just weirdos go. That's definitely not the case in my community that we have here. It's like, we have different people of all different kinds. Okay, we've got people that are actually successful entrepreneurs. We've got people that are on their way to be successful entrepreneurs. We've got people that are working in some of the best places in the United States. We've got some people that are just we've got people all over the world too. And we have people that are really dedicated to their faith. And we also have people that are just starting. They're just starting their walk with God, and they're trying to figure out how to grow closer to Him. And the cool thing is like, we all just meet each other where we're at. We're not trying to force anything on anybody. And that's what I think, like, a lot of people just fail in relationships because they're trying to force all the time, man. It's just, they're always trying to force. They're not trying to share. And I think that's where a lot of people get upset when you're the one that gets away, man. Or woman. But I hope that this video was useful and insightful for you. I hope everybody has a blessed rest of your evening. Peace be with you all. Until next time.